So let's pick the greatest Six Nations 15 of all time, Mark 2. 3 years ago, I gave this one a crack, and I'll link the video up above to explain why I've picked the players that I did 3 years ago. But 3 years is a long time in rugby, and I was looking through the list and going, I think some of these names would have changed for me. So these are personal lists, and I'd love to know your list down below. I've looked through all the names from previous years, players who are coming to the end of their careers, players that are retired, or even newer players who are just that good that I was going to consider and see what changes I would make. Now, of course, the Six Nations only started in the year 2000, so this is well within my rugby watching memory, so 25 years isn't actually that old for a competition, so I can remember all these players playing, but of course, memories can either make you fonder of players or recency can make players seem better than they actually are, so let me know where I'm going wrong. I'm sure there'd be plenty of disagreements. So this is the team I picked in 2022. Gethin Jenkins, Steve Thompson and Martin Castrogiovanni the front row, a second row pairing of Alan Wynne-Jones and Paul O'Connell. We had 6 Sean O'Brien, 7 Sam Warburton, which seems a bit strange, but I just had to pick both of them, so I kind of crammed them both in there. Sean O'Brien's a big ball carrier, but not, that big, rangy second row type you might see in 6 sometimes, but they were so good, they were 6 and 7. Sergio Parisi of Italy at 8. Antoine Dupont, even back then, was in my all-time team. Johnny Sexton was at fly half, inside centre Jamie Roberts, outside centre Brian O'Driscoll, Shane Williams and Jason Robinson on the wing, and Lee Halfpenny at fullback. So firstly, tell me once again the mistakes I made on that team, who should be in there, who isn't, but that's the base I'm going off. Now, is it important that they've done well in the Six Nations? They've won the Six Nations. They've got Grand Slams. Well, yeah, you've got to take it into account, but the bottom line is I wanted to pick the best players, literally the best team you could pick from Six Nations teams. You don't have to have won, but certainly if you have won and got Grand Slams, it says a lot about you as a player, as the team you're in, of course. But yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 on that one. Let me know how much weight you'd put on either of those. So welcome to this video, once again supported by Sports News Blitz. They are the one-stop shop for all things sports news. They're giving internships and placements for aspiring sports journalists, so do check them out, podcast website and YouTube channel. Loose head prop, it was Gethin Jenkins. He was like an extra flanker around the pitch. Amazing. His scrummaging was okay, of course, but should someone replace him? Andrew Porter, I think already for Ireland, has established himself as a world-class loose head. Amazing in the scrum, amazing in the loose, all power, all carrying, all action. But Cian Healy has got more caps and he is still there, and he is an absolute mountain of a man. He's so strong, scrummaging-wise especially. Cyril Bailly of France has been class for an awful long time. Then you've got the English guys, Joe Marler, Mako Vunipola. Now, in my shortlist, I might be England biased. I don't mean to be, but it could happen. But let me know if you think I am and who should or shouldn't be there. And Pierre Schoeman, I think, of Scotland is really getting into the picture. But I think Porter, Healy and Bailly have a good shot. And I was very much torn on this one. Not sure. Could be Bailly going in there, but I'm sticking with Gethin Jenkins because I can just have those memories in my head of him rushing around the pitch, redefining what a prop is. So he stays, but it is close. On to hooker, should anyone replace Steve Thompson? There is a short list, some very good players. I think Marchand is close, of France, a hell of a player. Is he the absolute number one choice at the moment? I don't know, but I am picking players in their prime at their best. Talking of best, Rory Best was incredibly solid, so good in the set piece, great leader. But I think I am going to make a change, and I think it is already going to be Dan Sheehan. I know it's fairly early days for him, I guess. He's going to go on and do other things in his career, but I think he's shown that he has got that amazing all-round game, but just particularly when he's out wide, that power, that pace, again like an extra flanker, and I think he gets in there over Steve Thompson. It's close, but yeah, Dan Sheehan there in the all-time team. Tell me if it's too early to pull the trigger on that one, but I'm going with my heart, going for Sheehan. On to tight head, can anyone replace Castrogiovanni of Italy? Certainly an icon of the game. His scrummaging was fantastic. Furlong, Fagerson, Antonio, I think on my shortlist there, a very short list, and I am going to make a change. I'm going to change it to Tig Furlong. I think Furlong has that strength in the scrum and at his best has those twinkle toes, great hands, huge carrying, really has it all. He's slightly on the slide, I suppose, a bit, but still performing well. May well make the Lions again. So I am changing this to Tyg Furlong as my all-time greatest tight head. On to second row, the legendary pairing of Alan Wynne-Jones and Paul O'Connell. Surely nothing can touch them. I'm not so sure, though. We've got Tyburn, Maritoje. I think they are both close. Cruz, Laws, Johnny Gray, Willemse maybe for France. And I think I'm going to make a change. I think I'm going to make one change, and it's another Irishman, Tyburn. He's not the biggest guy, but goodness me, he has come onto the international stage and just ripped it up all the time. Still absolute class. He's got amazing ability out wide, his handling, always doing the right thing at the right time. No, he's in your team, whether it's at second row or blind side. But I'm going to try and get some other players in here, so I want Tyburn in somewhere. So he goes into the second row pairing. Who do I drop out? It's a tough one, but I'm going to go Irish for Irish, and Paul O'Connell drops out. Paul O'Connell, an absolute workhorse of a player. Does he quite have the skills of Tyburn or even Alan Wynne-Jones at his prime? Maybe not. So he drops off, and it's Alan Wynne-Jones and Tyburn. And it is worth remembering that Alan Wynne-Jones in his prime was a phenomenal athlete. Sure, he got a bit slower as he got older, as all players do, but that's a hell of a pairing. On to the blind side, Sean O'Brien. Goodness me, I love Sean O'Brien. Just a beast of a ball carrier. The tries he scored, amazing. Memories of the Lions as well. But I think we do need a proper blindside in there, a blindside with that height, to be a line-out monster, and the carries and the offloads, a player who got better and better of that shortlist. Burns already taken. Amani, another workhorse, but Courtney Laws at his best. Sheer class. Really it's like two players in one. And he did get better and better as he got older. Obviously still playing now, but not for England. So a change of O'Brien to Courtney Laws. So it does hurt me to drop O'Brien. And I did think maybe do I swap him straight in with Sam Warburton at open side. But as an out-and-out open side, maybe Warburton just pips it a little bit quicker to the ball, maybe better over the ball. Not quite as big a carrier as Sean O'Brien. But who comes close from that shortlist? Well, I think Van der Fleer definitely does, and maybe a couple more years he would take it. Charles Olivon of France, it's got to be close, that extra height. Curry, Underhill, Tipperick was, of course, in Warburton's shadow for a long time, and if Warburton wasn't there, maybe Tipperick would be in this side. Hamish Watson at his best, absolutely phenomenal, just like a cannonball going around the pitch. But I think Warburton stays for now. It is close. I think Josh van der Fleer is the closest, but again, maybe a couple more years and it makes a change. But let me know if you think the change should happen now. Now, Sergio Parisi at 8 is kind of a similar picture. I think there's some guys super close. Faletau at his best was phenomenal. I mean, he has struggled so much to get back fit, and he's fit for a bit, then injured again. But it's him at his prime, and his skill, his understated ball carrying, always in the right place at the right time. Doris is getting close already, going to be the Lions captain, of course. Picamole, a guy maybe I should consider the first time. He is an absolute unit of a player when he played for France. Just did everything right, as did Aldrit. I think Aldrit actually was the closest for me to get in. Some say Parisi is a bit overrated, but I don't think so. Considering he was in a struggling Italy side, he did phenomenal things. If he was in a different side, a stronger team, I think he would have been even greater than he was. So he stays for now, but goodness me, it's close. Aldrit may be in there at his best. On to number 9, and I think we're going to know that Antoine Dupont is staying, especially considering he was in 3 years ago. He's definitely going to be in now when he's even better. Murray, Gibson Park, maybe Gibson Park's getting close. Youngs and Care for England, got loads of caps, did well. Gareth Davies of Wales, maybe. Now, of course, I should say there's lots of other players, older players, who I did consider in the first round. So I'm only kind of picking up newer players in this one. So Dupont stays. Johnny Sexton at 10. Well, it's close maybe. Farrell. Finn Russell's got the skills. Does he need to win a Six Nations to be on this list? It's certainly going to help. Roman Intermac is a phenomenal player. He's got to be close in a couple of years as well. Maybe he would be the closest in a couple of years, but Sexton, for his all-round game, his game management, nerveless goal kicking, taking the ball to the line, what a competitor, and he stays for now. Into the centres, we had Jamie Roberts and Brian O'Driscoll. Brian O'Driscoll, let's start with him. So hard to replace him because he was so good for his time, but are some of these modern players just as good? Ringrose, Henshaw, Hugh Jones, Fiku, I think maybe the closest of the lot. He's been so good for so long. Manu Tulangi, a specialist 13, moved into 12. And he is a guy who I think makes a massive difference to a side. Manu Tuolangi at his absolute best, is a beast. Aki's a beast as well. Tuipulotu, Menoncello in a few years could be in this side. But I think that Manu Tuilagi should be in the centres. I can't drop Brian O'Driscoll, so I make a change. Jamie Roberts goes, and power for power, Manu Tuilagi comes in. And I think I would just give it to Manu Tuilagi between Roberts and Tuilagi at their best. So Tuilagi and Brian O'Driscoll. Then a painful one here. Two absolute rocket wingers with unbelievable feet. Williams and Jason Robinson. Sure, I'm lacking a size option. Should I change to a bigger player? George North, Van der Merwes, a beast in the Six Nations. Earls, Graham, Watson, May, all considered. But I am going to make a change. But don't worry, I'm dropping Jason Robinson for now and putting in Damien Penaud, who is just a peerless winger. Got that height, got that size as well. Incredibly fast, finishes for fun. He's going to rip up this Six Nations, I'm sure. But don't worry, Jason Robinson is back and he's in at fullback. I am replacing Lee Halfpenny with Robinson. I know Robinson under the high ball might not be as good as some of these other amazing experts. Liam Williams, Hugo Keenan, Thomas Ramos has got to be close as well. Carney maybe was one I should have considered, but I just can't leave out Jason Robinson. So maybe it's a weakness in the side, that high ball in the back three, but Robinson counter-attacking with Shane Williams and Penaud on the wing. What a back three that is. So to summarise, my greatest Six Nations 15 of all time, picked just before the Six Nations 2025, is Gethin Jenkins, Dan Sheehan and Tyg Furlong in the front row, Alan Wynne-Jones and Tyg Byrne second row, Courtney Law, Sam Warburton, Sergio Parisi back row, Dupont and Sexton half-backs, Tuilagi and O'Driscoll in the centres, and then Shane Williams with Damien Penaud on the wings and Jason Robinson, a positional change from the original list to fullback. So that is my team. Those are the changes and the reasons for them. Let me know your team down below. If you like these sorts of videos, please do subscribe, please do like, it really does help, and I'll catch you next time.